If you woke up tomorrow morning and found you only had 1 year left to live, would you continue living as you are today? Think seriously. Would you still spend hours scrolling through your phone? Would you still procrastinate on things you always said you'd do? Would you still let small fears dictate your future? Or would you finally start living according to what your heart truly desires? The scariest thing in life isn't death. The scariest thing is realizing, as life draws to a close, that you never truly lived. You once had big dreams. You once believed you could achieve something extraordinary. You once promised yourself you would make your parents proud, build a better life, and become the version of yourself you admired as a child. But then, time passed. The dreams remained. Only those who once held on tightly eventually let go. You begin to accept a repetitive life. Wake up, go to work, eat, scroll through your phone, watch some videos. Tell yourself, tomorrow I'll start. Then go to sleep. Tomorrow comes, you say the same thing again. A week passes, a month passes, a year quietly slips away. Nothing changes. Not because you're not smart enough, not because you lack opportunities, but because you always believe you still have plenty of time. But what if that's not true? What if the most valuable thing you possess isn't money, not talent, not relationships, but the days that are silently slipping away from you, minute by minute? Have you noticed that time never stops to wait for anyone? The clock keeps ticking. The sun keeps rising and setting. Spring keeps following winter. Meanwhile, how many people are still delaying the life they've always dreamed of? They wait for more money. They wait for more experience. They wait for the right time. They wait for others' recognition. And then they spend their youth just waiting. There's a saying that makes me think a lot. Every cemetery is filled with unfulfilled dreams. How many books were never written? How many businesses were never founded? How many songs were never sung? How many inventions were never created? Not because people lack talent, but because they've waited too long. Perhaps right now, you also harbor a dream that no one knows about. Maybe you want to learn a new language, want to start a business, want to change your physique, want to become a more confident person, want to help your family, want to live a life you can be proud of. But every time you prepare to begin, a familiar voice pops into your head. I'm not ready yet. Next week, next month, wait until things are better. Do you know what the most dangerous thing is? It's not failure. It's gradually believing that you'll always have a chance to start. The truth is, no one knows how much time they have left. No one knows which encounter will be the last. No one knows which opportunity will never come back. Therefore, every morning you wake up is a gift. Every day you still have the breath is an opportunity to continue writing your life story. Don't wait until you lose your health to appreciate your body. Don't wait until your parents are old and frail to realize how precious the time you have with them is. Don't wait until opportunities pass you by to ask yourself, why didn't I try? If you are still hearing these words today, then perhaps life is still giving you another chance. Not to continue procrastinating, but to awaken, because from this moment, everything can change. Not because circumstances will become easier, not because a miracle will happen, but because you will no longer be the person you were yesterday. On this journey ahead, we will explore why so many talented people live in regret, why ordinary people can create extraordinary things, and most importantly, how to awaken the strongest version of yourself that lies dormant within. But before we continue, I want you to do one thing. Look at yourself, not through a mirror, but through the choices you've made over the years. Are you getting closer to the life you dream of? Or are you drifting further and further away from it? If that question makes you think, then stay until the end of this journey. Because who knows, the decision to spend time on this video today might become a moment you look back on years from now and smile. That was the day I stopped existing and began to truly live. If the previous section made you realize that time is the most precious asset you have, now I want you to look deeper into another truth. A truth that many people spend their whole lives avoiding. Your life today is not determined by what you dream of, but by what you do each day. You may have said, I want to succeed. I want to have a better life. I want to become a stronger version of myself. But be honest with yourself. Are the things you do each day bringing you closer to those goals? Or are they silently pulling you back? There's a very interesting paradox. No one wakes up in the morning and says, "Today I'm going to ruin my life." Yet, millions of people are doing just that, not by one big decision, but by hundreds of small choices. They turn off their alarm and sleep for 10 more minutes. Those 10 minutes become 30 minutes. They intend to read a book, but then they pick up their phone. Just 5 minutes. Then those 5 minutes turn into an hour. They intend to exercise, but they tell themselves, "I'm a little tired today. I can exercise tomorrow." Tomorrow comes, and there's a new reason. They intend to learn a new skill, but a new movie just came out. A new game just updated. Another video just appeared. At the end of the day, they ask themselves, "Why am I not improving?" The truth is, life doesn't change because of promises. Life changes because of actions repeated long enough. There was a builder who wanted to construct a tall building. If he only laid one brick each day, at first glance, it seemed unremarkable. Passers-by might even think he was working too slowly. But after many years, those small bricks became a solid structure. Human success is like that. No one becomes excellent overnight. No one gets rich after a week of hard work. No one becomes better just by reading one book. It's all the result of accumulation. The unfortunate thing is, people love results, but they lack patience with the process. We want to lose weight in a few days. We want to succeed in a few months. We want to be good the first time. When that doesn't happen, we conclude that we're not capable enough. But you know what? A tree doesn't grow because of one rain shower. It grows thanks to thousands of rain showers. An athlete doesn't become a champion because of one training session. He becomes a champion because of decades of perseverance. An artist doesn't create their first masterpiece. They create it after thousands of hours of practice. So why do we think our lives will change in just a few days? Perhaps what you need isn't more motivation, but better habits. Motivation is like a fire. It can burn very strongly, but it can also die out very quickly. Meanwhile, discipline is like the sun. You may not notice it every day, but it nourishes all life. There are mornings when you won't want to get up. There are days when you won't want to study. There are times when you feel like you have no energy left. If you only work when you're inspired, you'll live under the control of your emotions. But if you act with discipline, you'll be in control of your life. Try observing the people you admire. They aren't always full of energy. They get tired too. They get disappointed too. They also have days when they want to give up. The difference is, they keep going. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. They let their goals guide them. There's a question worth pondering. If someone lived like you for the next 10 years, what kind of person would they become? Think about it. If every day they did exactly what you do, waking up at the time you wake up, eating the way you eat, working the way you work, use your time as you would, 10 years from now, will they have become the person you want them to be? If the answer is no, then it's time to change. Don't try to change your whole life in one day. That's almost impossible. Start with something small. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Read 10 pages of a book. Take a 20-minute walk. Learn a new word. Write down your goal for tomorrow. That's all. Small steps are always easier to take than big promises. You don't need to be excellent immediately. You just need to be better than you were yesterday. A little bit each day. 1% each day. That number sounds small. But after a year, you won't be the person you are today. No one might notice the change in you in the first week, the first month, even the first 6 months. But then one day, people will start asking, "How did you change so much?" They only see the results. They don't see the hundreds of mornings you chose to wake up instead of sleeping in, the hundreds of times you resisted temptation, the hundreds of times you persevered when you wanted to give up. That's the secret. Success isn't built on extraordinary moments. It's built from very ordinary things that most people lack the perseverance to do. So from today, don't ask, "How can I succeed quickly?" Ask, "Can I lay another brick for the future today?" Because your life doesn't change in a single day. But one day, You will realize that these ordinary days have silently created an extraordinary life. And in the next part, we will explore the most difficult battle anyone faces. It's not a battle against circumstances, not against other people, but a battle against the person who is always whispering, "Maybe I should give up." If you're still here, that means deep down in your heart, you haven't given up. Perhaps you failed before. Perhaps you've lost your way before. Perhaps there have been times when you thought life was unfair to you. But remember, a person who still knows how to find hope is a person who still has the ability to change their destiny. And now I want to tell you about a battle that no one can see. There are no gunshots, no smoke or fire, no enemies standing before you. Yet, it is a battle that determines a person's entire future. It is a battle between the person you are today and the person you could become in the future. Every morning when the alarm clock rings, those two people wake up at the same time. One person says, "Get up. Today is a new opportunity." The other whispers, "It's okay to sleep a little longer." One person says, "Read a few more pages." The other replies, "You can read it tomorrow." One person wants you to step out of your comfort zone. The other wants you to stay where you are. The strange thing is, neither of them is stronger. The winner is always the one you nurture more. If you choose the easy way every day, your weaker self will grow. If you choose discipline every day, your stronger self will gradually take control of your life. Don't think that personality is something that can't be changed. People aren't made up of what they say. People are made up of what they repeat. If you keep your promises to yourself every day, you will become a trustworthy person. If you break your promises to yourself every day, you will gradually lose faith in yourself. And when a person no longer believes in themselves, they will find it very difficult to conquer anything. Have you ever wondered, why do many intelligent people still fail, while some people with very ordinary backgrounds achieve successes that everyone admires? The answer doesn't lie in intelligence. It lies in the ability to overcome oneself. Intelligent people who lack discipline, ultimately, they are defeated by ordinary people who persevere. Life never rewards the best. Life often rewards the most persistent. An athlete once shared that what makes him different isn't because he's stronger than others, but every time he wanted to stop, he always took one more step, just one step. The next day, another step. It was those small steps that led him to the finish line. Life is like that too. Don't underestimate small victories. Today you woke up on time. That's a victory. Today you refused to scroll through your phone to focus on studying. That's a victory. Today you completed your work even though you were very tired. That's also a victory. Many people think that victory is making a lot of money, owning a beautiful house, being famous. But the first victory is when you no longer let laziness control you. There's a question I want you to answer yourself. If there was someone by your side 24 hours a day, that person always said, "You're not good enough. You'll fail. Don't try. You can't do it." Would you want to be with that person? Certainly not. But that's exactly how many people talk to themselves every day. They judge themselves. They doubt themselves. They devalue themselves. Then they wonder why they lack confidence. You can't build a positive life if you plant negative thoughts in your mind every day. Change the way you talk to yourself. Don't say, "I can't do it." Instead, ask, "What do I need to learn to do it?" Don't say, "I failed." Sigh, "I just learned another lesson." Don't say, "I'm not good enough." Say, "I'm not good enough yet, but I'll get better every day." Just add the word "not yet." Your whole perspective on life will change. A baby doesn't walk when it's born, but it never thinks it's a failure. It falls, then gets up, falls again, gets up again. If we had given up after the first fall, perhaps no one would know how to walk today. But as adults, we become so afraid of failure that we don't dare to start. How ironic. Perhaps what you need isn't more confidence, but more courage. Courage to try. Courage to make mistakes. Courage to learn. Be brave enough to keep going even when you don't see results. No one is born strong. They become strong after many times when they feel like giving up. Don't wait until you're no longer afraid to act. because that day will never come. A brave person isn't someone who doesn't know fear, but someone who keeps moving forward even when they still have many fears in their heart. Remember, every time you overcome a small limit, you are expanding the limits of your entire life. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are building another brick of self-confidence. Every time you choose to act instead of making excuses, you are getting closer to becoming the person you've always wanted to be. You may not see the change today, but believe in the laws of life. No sincere effort is meaningless. Everything you do today is silently shaping the person you will be tomorrow. So, at the end of this section, I want you to remember one thing. Your greatest enemy is never circumstances. Not age, not money, not judgment, but the version of yourself that always wants you to give up. If you conquer that version of yourself, then no challenge out there will be strong enough to defeat you. In the next section, we will talk about what causes millions of people to live in regret. It's not because they lack talent, but because they let the fear of failure steal the most precious opportunities in their lives. And perhaps, after listening to the next part, you will no longer see failure as the end, but rather as the starting point for the strongest version of yourself. There's a question I want you to consider right now. If you were certain you would succeed, would you still be afraid to start? Probably not. You would boldly pursue the idea you've long cherished. You would enroll in the course you've always wanted to take. You would start the business you've always dreamed of. You would step onto the stage. You would apply to the company you love. You would apologize. You would express your feelings. You would live the life you truly desire. But life never gives us a clear outcome. And it is this uncertainty that causes so many people to stop right at the starting line. Not because they lack ability, but because they are too afraid of failure. It's strange. People are often more afraid of failure than of regret, while in reality, regret is always far more painful. Failure only lasts for a short time. But the question, what if I had tried that day, can haunt you for a lifetime. Imagine you are 70 years old. One quiet afternoon, you sit on your porch and look back on your journey. What would you regret most then? Would it be the times you tried but failed? Or the dreams you never dared to pursue? Many people spend their whole lives avoiding failure, but then they fail to live true to themselves. That's the most regrettable thing. There was a boy who loved to draw. Every day he would sit for hours with his pencil and notebook. He dreamed of one day becoming an artist. But once he took his painting to a school competition. The painting didn't win. Some friends laughed. Some even said, "You have no talent." Just that one sentence made him put his pen away in a drawer. For many years afterward, he didn't paint another picture. The sad thing isn't that he lost the competition. The sad thing is that he let other people's words decide his future. Do you see yourself in that story? Perhaps you once wanted to learn something new, but were ridiculed. You once wanted to start a business, but were told it was unrealistic. You once wanted to change yourself, but someone told you it was impossible. Gradually, you no longer believe in your dreams. You start living according to other people's expectations. At some point, you even forget what you truly want. But remember one thing. No one has the right to define your limits. Except yourself. Those who once laughed at you, they are not the ones who will live your life for you, nor are they responsible for what you miss out on. So why would you give them the power to decide your future? There's something interesting in nature. A baby eagle doesn't learn to fly in a safe nest. At some point, the mother eagle will push her chick out of the nest. It sounds cruel, but that fall forces the baby eagle to spread its wings. Without that moment, it would never know it could fly. Life is the same. Sometimes setbacks don't come to destroy you. They come to awaken a strength you never knew you possessed. Perhaps you're experiencing a failure right now. You lost your job. You failed an exam. You were rejected. You lost an important relationship. You feel like all doors are closing. But who knows? That might be the door leading you to a better path. No one sees the whole picture after only taking a few steps. The only thing you need to do is keep moving forward. There's a very fair rule. Every failure carries a lesson. If you learn that lesson, Failure is no longer a failure. It becomes a learning experience. Successful people aren't those who have never failed. They are simply those who don't waste their failures. They look at their mistakes and ask themselves, what do I need to change? While many others ask, why did this happen to me? Just one different question, but it creates two completely different lives. Don't expect to never fail. Aspire to have the strength to get up after every fall. Because what determines your future isn't the number of times you fall, but the number of times you refuse to stay still. Do you know how babies learn to walk? No child takes their first step. They fall, cry, then they get up again, fall again, and keep going. If a child could give up after only a few falls, perhaps none of us would know how to walk today. But as we grow older, we become so afraid of making mistakes that we don't dare to begin. That's the greatest paradox of humanity. We forget that every skill begins with clumsiness. Every success begins with failures. Every great journey begins with a single trembling step. Perhaps you haven't achieved what you wanted today. That's okay. The important thing is that you're still moving forward. Don't compare your first chapter to someone else's last. Everyone has their own pace, their own season of blossoming, their own journey. Your job isn't to run faster than everyone else. Your job is not to stop. If you feel tired today, take a break. But don't give up. If you feel disappointed today, give yourself time, but don't lose hope. If you fail today, learn, then move on. Because life doesn't reward those who never fall. Life rewards those who dare to get up again. And remember, perhaps the very challenge you're facing today will become an inspiring story that you'll tell others someday. By then, you won't resent the difficult days anymore. You will be grateful for them, because it was precisely those seemingly darkest days that forged the strongest version of you. In the next section, we will explore a secret that many successful people understand very early on. That is, no one comes to save your life. The moment you stop waiting for others to change your circumstances, that is the moment you begin to take control of your destiny. There's a truth that's hard to accept, but the sooner you accept it, the more opportunities you have to change your life. That truth is, no one will come to save you. No hero will appear when you're at your most desperate. No miracle will make all your difficulties disappear overnight. No one will live your life for you. No one will fulfill the dreams you've given up on. And no one will be responsible for your life except yourself. It sounds harsh, but that very truth is what liberates people. Because when you stop waiting for others, you begin to discover your own power. Many people spend their whole lives blaming others. They say, if only I had been born into a wealthier family, if only I had met the right person, if only I had more money, if only I were younger, if only I had more time, if only circumstances were better. Their lives are always intertwined with two words, if only. But do you realize, those two words have never changed anyone's fate. They only trap people in the past, or make them wait for a future that will never come. A man once told me, for years he blamed his parents for not being able to give him a comfortable life. He blamed the economy. He blamed the place where he was born. He blamed his job. He blamed the people who had hurt him. He believed that all of those things had stolen his opportunities. Until one day, he met an old man selling used books on the roadside. After a while of conversation, he asked, have you ever resented fate? The old man smiled and replied, I have resented it a lot. But then I realized something. The time I spent complaining was the time others spent changing their lives. That statement was like an awakening. That's right. While you spend an hour blaming circumstances, somewhere else, someone is spending an hour learning a new skill. While you spend your whole day talking about what you lack, someone is leveraging what they have to move forward. While you wait for the perfect opportunity, someone creates opportunities from their own difficulties. That's the difference. Winners aren't those who face fewer challenges. They simply decided not to let challenges control their lives. You can't choose where you're born, but you can choose how you'll live. You can't change the past, but you can change the decisions of today. You can't control everything that happens, but you always have the power to choose how you react. That's the greatest power of humanity. A seed fell between two rocks. The conditions were extremely harsh. Little soil, little sunlight, very little water. If that seed could speak, perhaps it would have 1,000 reasons to give up, but it didn't. It silently took root. Little by little, day by day, it crept through the smallest cracks in the rocks. Finally, a young sprout appeared. Many years later, it became a large, sturdy tree amidst the cliffs. That miracle didn't happen because of favorable circumstances. It happened because the seed didn't give up its mission. The same goes for people. Circumstances may cause you to start slower than others, but circumstances don't determine where you'll end up. What determines whether you keep moving forward? Don't say, I don't have the resources. Instead, ask yourself, with what I have, what can I do today? Maybe you don't have much money, but you have time to learn. Maybe you don't have connections, but you can build credibility through sincerity. Maybe you don't have experience, but you can accumulate it day by day. Maybe you're not good at it yet, but you can become better at it. Don't underestimate what you already have. Many people only see what they lack. They forget that what you have is the starting point of every journey. You don't need to have everything. You just need to start with what you have. There's a memorable saying, the best camera is the one you have in your hands. Life is the same. The best opportunity is often the opportunity you start today, not tomorrow, not next year, but right now. Don't wait until you're confident to act. Action creates confidence. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Perfection isn't the starting point. It's the result of continuous improvement. You'll never know how strong you are. If you stay in your comfort zone, you'll never discover your potential. If you always let fear decide, every time you take another step, you're proving to yourself, I can. And every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're building a foundation that no one can take away. Remember, not everyone is born with the same starting point, but everyone has the right to choose their attitude towards life. Some people turn adversity into an excuse. Some people turn adversity into motivation. Some people see the wall. Someone saw the door. Life doesn't usually change because circumstances change. Life changes when your perspective changes. If today you're still waiting for someone to come and save you, stop. The person you've been waiting for all this time is you, a stronger version of yourself, a braver version of yourself, a more disciplined version of yourself, a more persistent version of yourself. That person is always inside you, just waiting for you to awaken them. And when you decide to stand up, even if the first steps are slow, even if your legs are still trembling, even if there are still difficulties ahead, at that very moment, you have won, not because you've reached the finish line, but because you are no longer someone sitting still waiting for a miracle. You have become someone who creates miracles for your own life. If you're still listening, please take a moment to like the video and share in the comments a quote you'd like to remind yourself of every day. Perhaps just a comment from you today will give hope to a stranger who needs motivation to keep going. And in the next part, we'll explore the power that can change a person's life but is often overlooked. That is mindset, because all great changes in the world begin with an invisible change in how people think. You may not be able to change your circumstances immediately, but if you simply change your perspective on your circumstances, a whole new door will begin to open. Have you ever wondered, why do two people go through the same ordeal, but one collapses while the other becomes stronger? Why do some people see failure as the end, while others see it as the most valuable lesson? Why do some people see the wall, while others see the door? What makes the difference isn't the circumstances, but how they perceive the circumstances. Life isn't always under our control. You can't control the weather. You can't control what others say. You can't control unexpected events. But there's always one thing you can control. That's how you react. And sometimes, just changing how you react can change your whole life. There's a very famous story. Two shoe salesmen were sent to the same area. After observing, the first immediately called the company. He said, "There's no opportunity here. Nobody wears shoes." Meanwhile, the second was incredibly excited. He also called the company and said, "This is the best market. Nobody wears shoes yet." The same truth, but two different perspectives, two completely different results. Life is like that too. Some people see difficulties and conclude that they can't do it. Some people see those very difficulties and tell themselves, this is an opportunity for me to grow. You can't control when the storm will come, but you can prepare your boat to be more stable. You can't stop others from doubting you, but you can keep trying until the results speak for themselves. You can't make every path smooth, but you can learn to walk steadily. Many people live their whole lives believing that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the talent, I don't have the opportunity. They repeat these words every day. Gradually, those words are no longer just thoughts. They become beliefs, and then that belief becomes reality, not because it's true, but because they act according to what they believe. If you believe you will fail, you won't dare to try. If you don't dare to try, you won't gain experience. Without experience, you'll become even more convinced that you're not capable enough. A cycle continues, but the amazing thing is, that cycle can be broken. Just change the story you tell yourself. Instead of saying, I can't, sigh, I don't know how. The two statements sound similar, but they open two different doors. One door leads to giving up. The other leads to learning. Don't say, I'm too old to start. Ask, if I don't start today, where will I be in 5 years? Don't say, I don't have time. Ask yourself, how have I used my time? Don't say, I don't have opportunities. Ask, how can I create opportunities? The right questions will lead you to the right answers. A teacher once told his student, if you always ask why you are unhappy, you will only see unhappiness. But if you ask what you learned today, you will find a lesson in every event. That is the power of thinking. Not blind optimism, not self-deception, but choosing to see opportunity in challenges. Perhaps today you are facing many difficulties. You have the right to be sad. You have the right to be tired. You have the right to rest, but never let yourself believe that you are powerless. Because powerlessness is not a circumstance. Powerlessness is when you refuse to seek solutions. There is a large rock in the middle of the road. Hundreds of people passing by complain. They blamed the person who placed the stone. They blamed the road. They blamed luck. Only one young man stopped. He tried to push the stone aside. After much effort, finally, he succeeded. Beneath the stone was a bag of money and a piece of paper that read, a reward for the first to act. Life is like that too. What others see as an obstacle could be a gift for you, but only those who dare to act have the chance to receive it. Don't let the negative words of others become the voice inside you. There will always be people who doubt you. Some people will laugh. Some people will say you can't. Let them speak. They have the right to express their opinions, but you have the right to decide what to believe. Don't hand over the steering wheel of your life to people who don't know where you want to go. Hold it firmly and keep moving forward. The road may be long. It may be tiring. You may have to go alone for a while. But then there will come a time the people who once laughed at you will ask, how did you do it? The answer will be simple. I just didn't stop. There's a beautiful rule of life. You can't change the past, but you can always rewrite the next chapter, even if you failed yesterday, even if you made mistakes yesterday, even if you gave up yesterday. So today, you still have the right to start over. No one can erase what has happened, but you can decide what will happen next. That is the greatest power any human being possesses. Before I conclude this section, I want you to remember one quote. Life doesn't change when circumstances change. Life changes when your mindset changes. Starting today, learn to replace every complaint with a question. Replace every excuse with an action. Replace every fear with a small step forward. You will be surprised to find that the world around you seems to begin to change as well. Not because the world is different, but because you yourself have changed. If you've made it this far, please take a few seconds to like and share in the comments. I choose to change my mindset. That's not just a statement. It's a commitment to your own future. And in the next part, we'll enter the most difficult stage of any change journey. That's when you've tried so hard, but the results haven't appeared yet. It's those days when nothing seems to change. That's where it's decided who will be the winner and who will be back at square one. There comes a time, every dreamer will encounter this. It's when you've tried so hard, but life seems to remain silent. You wake up earlier, you study more, you work harder, you give up old habits, you sacrifice your rest time, but no one acknowledges you, no one praises you. The results are still nowhere to be seen. At that moment, a familiar voice will echo in your head. Maybe I'm not suited for this. Maybe I should stop. Maybe someone else is right. Maybe I've wasted too much time. If you've ever experienced that feeling, congratulations. You're standing in a place where many have turned their backs and given up. And it's also where exceptional people are created. Because what distinguishes successful people from those who give up is not talent, but how they face periods of inactivity. There was a farmer who sowed seeds in early spring. The first day, he saw nothing. A week later, still nothing. A month passed. The ground remained still. If he dug up the seeds every day to check, would those seeds ever sprout? Of course not. To make a seed grow, you have to learn to believe in what you can't see. The same goes for dreams. There are efforts that can't be seen immediately, but that doesn't mean they're useless. Every page you read is silently changing the way you think. Every workout is silently changing your body. Every time you overcome laziness, you are silently building your character. Maybe today, no one notices, but life always remembers. There is a very fair rule. You can't see a tree grow day by day, but after many years, you will be amazed at its height. You can't see yourself grow overnight, but if you look back at yourself 3 years ago, you will realize how far you have come. The most dangerous thing is, many people give up right before the results appear. They are like well diggers. They dig 10 meters. They don't find water. They move to another spot. They dig another 10 meters. Still no water. They give up again. They continue like that. In the end, they end up with many shallow holes. But there was no well. Meanwhile, there was another person. He only dug in one spot, a little deeper each day. Tired, sweating. Sometimes he wanted to give up, but he kept going. And then, one day, water appeared. Success is like an underground spring. You don't find it by constantly changing your goals. You find it through perseverance. Perhaps you're thinking, but what if I try and still fail? I want to ask you another question. If you give up today, would your life be better? The answer is probably no. Giving up doesn't make the problem disappear. It only leaves you with regret. Some people give up on a book after only reading the first few chapters and finding it difficult. Some people quit exercising because they haven't lost weight after a few weeks. Some people give up on their dreams after being rejected a few times. But what they don't know is, every great thing has a period called silent accumulation. That's the period when you do a lot, but the results seem zero. That's the hardest period. Because you're not just fighting the work, you're also fighting the self-doubt. There are nights when you wonder if you're going down the wrong path. There are mornings when you wake up with no motivation left. There are moments when you just want to go back to your old life. Less pressure, less disappointment, less fatigue. But remember, if you go back to where you started, you'll go back to being the same person. And then, a few years later, you'll stand in front of the mirror again and ask yourself, why hasn't my life changed? Don't let today's difficulties steal tomorrow's future. Look at a marathon runner. In the final kilometers, that's when the body hurts the most. That's when the legs feel like lead. That's when the mind keeps saying, stop. But those final steps are what bring them to the finish line. Life is like that too. Sometimes, you just need to try a little harder. Read one more page. Write one more line. Study for 10 more minutes. Practice one more exercise. Persevere for one more day. Because it's possible that very little bit could change your whole life. There's a great saying, winners aren't always stronger. They're just the ones who don't stop when others have given up. Keep that saying in your heart. Whenever you feel tired, remember why you started. You didn't begin this journey just to live the same as yesterday. You started because you wanted your parents to have a better life. You started because you wanted your children to have more opportunities. You started because you wanted to prove to yourself that you can. Don't let difficult days make you forget your original goal. Instead, let them remind you that everything of value requires sacrifice. Perhaps you haven't reached success today, but if you take one step forward each day, you're closer to it than you were yesterday. That's the most important thing. Before we finish this, I want you to remember one thing. No one sees the roots growing underground, but those roots determine how strong the tree will be when the storm comes. The days you silently strive, no one knows, no one applauds, no one praises. But those days are laying the foundation for your future success. If you've made it this far, please like the video and leave a comment below. I will persevere one more day. Sometimes, just a small commitment today is the strength that keeps you from giving up tomorrow. In the next section, we will explore the secret that most successful people understand very well. That's why some people start later, but end up going further than everyone else. Because they have learned the art of perseverance, a power that can overcome both talent and luck. If you've come this far with me, perhaps you've realized something. Success is never a race for the fastest runners. It's a journey for those who never give up. There's a very thought-provoking saying, many people fail not because they aren't good enough, but because they give up before success even appears. Do you know what makes a diamond precious? Not because it's beautiful, but because it has endured tremendous pressure for a very long time. If coal could speak, perhaps it would also complain about the darkness, about the pressure, about the loneliness. But it is precisely these seemingly harsh things that create a diamond. The same goes for people. You don't grow on days when everything is easy. You grow on days when you want to give up but still decide to keep going. That's why perseverance is always stronger than talent. There are many talented people, but not everyone has enough patience. There are many intelligent people, but not everyone has enough perseverance. This world doesn't lack people who start. What the world lacks is people determined enough to see things through. Look at the lives around you. How many people buy books but don't finish reading them? How many people sign up for a course and then drop out halfway through? How many people exercise for a few weeks and then stop? How many people set goals at the beginning of the year, but forget about them after only a month? Not because they are weak, but because they underestimate the power of perseverance. There was a stone carving artisan. One day, someone asked him, "How do you create such beautiful statues?" He smiled and picked up his hammer. He struck once, then another blow, 10 blows, 100 blows, 500 blows. The stone remained unchanged. Then, on the 1,000th blow, suddenly, the stone split in two. The onlookers exclaimed, "It was the last blow that performed the miracle." The artist shook his head. He said, "No, the stone broke because of all 1,000 blows. Your life is the same. Never underestimate the small efforts you make. Maybe today, you only read 10 pages of a book. Maybe you only studied for 20 minutes more. Maybe you only saved a small amount of money. Perhaps you've only taken one step forward. But each step is accumulating strength. One day, the results will appear. Others will call it luck, but only you know it's the result of thousands of days of not giving up. There's something very interesting. When people see a tall tree, everyone admires it. But very few people think about the time the seed had to lie underground. No one applauds when the seed silently takes root. No one praises it as it struggles to grow little by little. Only when the tree is big enough do people see it. People are the same. Many people only see your success. They don't see the nights you stayed up studying, the mornings you woke up early while others were still sleeping, the times you were rejected, sweat, tears, times you wanted to give up but kept going. Don't expect everyone to understand your journey. They only see the results. Only you understand the price you've paid. A boy once asked his teacher, "How can I become excellent?" The teacher took him to a river. When the water reached his shoulders, he suddenly held the boy's head under water. The boy struggled violently. When he was pulled out, he gasped for breath. The teacher asked, When you were underwater, what did you want most? The boy replied, "Not money, not fame. I just wanted to breathe." The teacher smiled. When you crave success as intensely as you craved air, you will find a way. The difference between dreams and reality, it's not about ability. It's about the level of determination. Many people say they really want to change, but they only want to when it's not too difficult, not too tiring, not too long, not too painful. That's not determination. That's just a desire. True determination is to keep going when things don't go as expected. It's to keep doing it when no one is cheering. It's to keep moving forward when you haven't seen the light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know why water can erode rock? Not because the water is strong, but because the water never stops flowing. Perseverance always defeats temporary strength. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the richest. You don't need to be perfect either. You just need to become someone who never gives up. A little bit each day, a little bit each week, a little bit each month. A year later, you'll be surprised when you look back at yourself. Don't compare your speed to others. Some trees only take a few years to grow. Some ancient trees take decades. But it is the trees that grow slowly, that have the deepest and strongest roots. Life isn't a race to see who reaches the finish line faster. It's a journey to see who is persistent enough not to leave the race. Maybe today you still feel like you're progressing too slowly. It's okay. Going slow is better than standing still. Taking one step forward is better than taking one step backward. As long as you haven't stopped, you're still on your way to your destination. Remember this. Success isn't a moment. It's the result of thousands of right choices. You don't become strong in one day. You become strong after thousands of times conquering yourself. You don't build a life to be proud of with one big decision. You build it with countless small decisions repeated every day. If you feel tired today, take a rest, but don't give up. If you feel slow today, keep going. Don't turn back. If you haven't achieved results today, remember that every seed has its own blooming season. It's not about blooming early. The important thing is to keep growing. Before we finish this part, I want you to remember a quote. It's not the fastest person who wins. The winner is the one who keeps walking when others have stopped. If you believe that, take a few seconds to like the video and write in the comments. I will not give up. Maybe today that quote is just a line of text, but if you live by it, it will become a promise that changes your life. In the next part, we will talk about the most precious thing that no rich person can buy back once they lose it. That is time. And perhaps, after listening to the next part, you will no longer postpone any of your dreams, because you will understand that each day that passes is not just another day in your life. Rather, it's about sacrificing one day to make your dream a reality. If you were given $1 million tomorrow, perhaps your life would change. You could buy a nicer house, a better car. You could travel. You could help your family. You could fulfill many of your dreams. But consider another question. If someone offered you $100 million on the condition that you never wake up tomorrow morning, would you agree? Certainly not. That proves a very clear truth. Your life is worth more than any amount of money. And what gives life its value is time. Money lost, you can earn it back. Job lost, you can find another job. Even if you fail, you can still get up and try again. But a minute that has passed will never come back. Every morning when you wake up, we all receive the same gift. 24 hours. No one has more. No one has less. The richest person in the world still only has 24 hours. The average person also has exactly 24 hours. The difference isn't how much time you have, but how you use it. Some people use time to learn. Some people use time to build their dreams. Some people use time to take care of their families. But there are also people who spend most of their lives procrastinating. They always say, tomorrow, next month, next year, wait until I have more money, wait until I have more free time, wait until everything is perfect. But life waits for no one. Tomorrow is always a fragile promise. The only thing you truly have is today. There was a very busy father. He worked from morning till night. He always told his son, "Wait until the weekend." The weekend came. He was busy again. "Wait until next month." The next month came. He was still busy. Year after year. One day, he saw his son wearing his university graduation gown. He suddenly realized the little boy who used to hold his hand had become a man. He had earned a lot of money, but he couldn't buy back his son's childhood years. Life is sometimes so cruel. You can earn money back, but you can't buy back time. There are people who only realize they spent too little time with their parents when they grow old and frail. There are people who only realize they should have taken care of themselves sooner when their health deteriorates. There are people who only realize how precious a loving word is after losing someone important. Don't let life teach you lessons through regret. Learn them today. There's an hourglass. Every grain of sand that falls cannot be brought back. Your life is like that too. Every day that passes is a part of life silently closing. The sad thing isn't that we grow old. The sad thing is that many people have never truly lived. They just exist. Wake up in the morning, go to work, eat, scroll through their phone, check social media, go to sleep, and repeat. A week, a month, a year, 10 years. Until they look back, they can't remember what they lived for. Don't let life become a loop. Make each day a step forward. You don't need to do anything extraordinary. Just get closer to the person you want to be each day. Read a few more pages of a book, learn a new skill, call your parents to check in, hug your loved ones a little longer, say thank you more often, forgive things that aren't worth holding on to. Each of these small things is an investment in life. Someone once asked, "What is the most precious thing you possess?" An old man smiled and replied, "This morning." Everyone was surprised. He continued, "Because yesterday is gone. Tomorrow hasn't come yet. Only today is what I truly have." That's a very profound lesson. Don't dwell on the past. You can't change it. Don't live too much for the future. You may not see it. Live fully in the present. Because the present is where the future is created. If you spend an hour learning today, you will be different a year from now. If you spend an hour on your health today, you will thank yourself 10 years from now. If you spend more time with your family today, one day you won't regret being too busy. Success isn't just about money. Success is having time for the people you love. It's having the health to enjoy life. It's waking up every morning knowing what you're living for. Don't let work steal your youth. Don't let busyness become an excuse. No one remembers how many extra hours you worked at the office, but your loved ones will always remember how much time you spent with them. One day, what your children will remember isn't the expensive gifts, but the evenings you spent listening to their stories. Parents don't need you to be the richest. They only want you to be healthy, peaceful, and occasionally come home. Don't trade things that can't be bought back for things that will eventually be lost. Money is important. Careers are also important, but life isn't just about the numbers in your bank account. Life is also about laughter, hugs, conversation, simple moments that you'll cherish forever. Maybe you're very busy today, but take a few minutes after this video ends to text someone you love, to say thank you, to apologize, or simply, "I miss you, Mom and Dad. I love you, Mom and Dad. I'm grateful you're here." Don't let words of love become something you only say with regret. Say them while you can. Love while you still have the chance. Live while time is still smiling upon you, because every day you wake up is another chance to continue writing your story. No one knows how long the future will last, but everyone can decide how they will live today. Before we end this part, I want you to remember a quote. Don't count the days in your life. Make each day of your life worth remembering. If you agree with that, please like the video and leave a comment below. I will cherish every day I have left to live. That's not just a promise. It's a way to remind yourself that time isn't meant to be wasted, but to create a life to be proud of. And in the final part, we will conclude this journey with the most important message. This message could be a turning point, freeing you from procrastination, self-doubt, and the courage to begin a new chapter in your life. Because who knows, the moment you watch until the end of today's video, that's the moment your life begins to change forever. If you've been with me from the very beginning, I want to tell you something. It's not a coincidence. Amidst millions of videos on the internet, amidst countless distractions, you're still here, perhaps because deep down in your heart, you're still searching for change. And if that's the case, then I believe today's meeting holds special significance. Throughout this journey, we've talked about time, about fear, about failure, about discipline, about mindset, about perseverance, about the value of life. But if I had to sum it all up in a single sentence, I would say this. Your life won't change just because you listen to an inspirational speech. Your life only changes when you decide to act after the speech ends. That's the biggest difference. Many people watch hundreds of motivational videos, read dozens of self-help books, take countless courses. They feel very excited, very emotional, very determined. But a few days later, everything goes back to how it was before. Not because knowledge is worthless, but because knowledge isn't translated into action. Knowledge only truly has power when it changes the way you live. A person who knows how to swim, but has never gone into the water, still can't swim. A person who reads hundreds of business books, but has never started, still just an observer. A person who knows that exercise is beneficial, but never exercises, then their health can't improve. Life always rewards those who act, not those who know the most. Every morning when you wake up, life asks you one question. Today, will you take another step, or will you continue to stand still? And the answer is not in your thoughts, but in what you do. Perhaps you are waiting for the perfect moment. But remember, there is no perfect day to begin. The perfect day is the day you decide to begin. Do you know what many people regret most before leaving this life? Not because they failed, but because they never dared to live according to their own desires. They lived according to the expectations of others. They fear being judged. They fear rejection. They fear making mistakes. In the end, they spend their whole lives trying to please everyone except themselves. Please don't let that happen to you. You weren't born to be a copy of anyone else. You don't need to live the life others think is right. You just need to live a life that, when you look back, you can smile and say, I tried my best. I was brave. I didn't give up. That's success. Success isn't just the money you earn. It's not just the house you own. It's not just the position you achieve. Success is when you wake up every morning, you feel grateful that you're still alive. It's when you look at your parents and see their smiles. It's when you can spend time with your family. It's when you sleep soundly knowing that you lived a meaningful day. A 90-year-old man was once asked, if you could go back to your 20s, what would you do differently? He smiled for a long time before answering, I would be less afraid. I spent too many years worrying about things that never happened. I gave up too many opportunities because I was afraid of failure. I wasted too much time waiting for perfection. Now I understand, the scariest thing isn't failure, but never daring to try. Hopefully, you won't have to wait until your hair turns gray to understand that. Hopefully, you will start today. After this video ends, don't just say, great video. Ask yourself, what's the first thing I'll do to change my life? Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a book. Maybe it's starting to save money. Maybe it's signing up for that course you've been putting off. Maybe it's calling your parents. Maybe it's apologizing to someone you owe an apology to. Maybe it's forgiving yourself. Don't try to change your whole life in one day. Change for one day, then repeat. Every day. You'll be surprised when you look back after a year. Maybe the world won't change immediately, but you will change. And when you change, your world will change too. Remember, you are stronger than you ever thought you were. You are more resilient than you ever believed you were. You are more capable than you ever imagined. Don't let the past define your future. Don't let failure define who you are. Don't let fear steal your best years. Just take a step, even if it's just one step, because every great journey begins with a first step. If you are still breathing today, life is still giving you another chance. If you still have dreams today, it's not too late. If you still have the courage to stand up today, nothing can stop you from moving forward. I want you to close your eyes for a few seconds. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, a healthier person, more confident, more peaceful, more mature, able to help family, able to be proud of yourself. That person is looking at you and just asking a very simple question. Are you ready to start today? If your answer is yes, then congratulations. Your new journey has begun right now. If this video series gives you even just one positive thought, please take a second to like it. It's a simple but meaningful way to help these positive messages reach more people. Leave a comment with the words, "Today I choose to change." That will be the first commitment between you and yourself. I also look forward to reading your story. Who knows? Your journey in the future might become an inspiration for thousands of others who are struggling to find their way. And if you love inspiring stories, self-development lessons, and messages to help you live more positively every day, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Each new video will be a reminder that no matter how difficult life gets, you always have the right to get back up. You always have the right to start over. You always have the right to write a new chapter in your life. Before we say goodbye, I want to send you one last message. Don't try to be better than everyone else. Try to become a better version of yourself every day. Don't chase perfection. Seek progress. Don't ask, "When will I succeed?" Ask yourself, "Have I lived up to my dreams today?" Because a meaningful life is not made up of one great moment. It is made up of thousands of small, right, and courageous choices. I believe that one day, when you look back on your journey, you will smile and say, "My greatest luck wasn't encountering opportunities, but on a very ordinary day, I decided not to give up." Thank you for accompanying me to the very end. May you always maintain your faith when facing challenges. May you maintain gratitude when achieving success, and may you maintain kindness every step of the way. Keep going. Your future awaits, and the best version of yourself is smiling at the end of the road.